What happens when one of the most powerful women in the entertainment industry publicly praises a friend at the very moment she's about to step into one of the most important chapters of her life? That's not just a compliment, it's a message. And sometimes the quietest messages create the strongest impact. On April 15, 2026, Time magazine unveiled its list of the 100 most influential people in the world, a list always filled with powerful names, success stories, and cultural icons. But this year, one small detail made the media pause, read a little slower, and reflect a little deeper. Dakota Johnson was honored, and the person who wrote her tribute was not a director, not a co-star, it was Taylor Swift. An unexpected choice, but not a random one. In her piece, Taylor didn't talk about fame, she didn't talk about box office success. She spoke about a refreshing honesty, about deep empathy, about an endless curiosity, and most importantly, the ability to remain truly herself in a calculated Hollywood machine. These words weren't just praise, they felt like a quiet confirmation from someone who understands the true cost of fame. And what makes this story even more compelling, it all unfolds as Taylor prepares for her wedding to Travis Kelce, an event expected to become a global cultural moment. Amid the spotlight, public romance, and endless speculation, she chose to talk about a quiet friendship, one that rarely appears on the red carpet. Why? Is this simply a tribute or something deeper, a subtle statement about what truly matters in a world driven by image and attention? What do you think about the way Taylor chose to honor her friend at this exact moment? To fully understand the weight of this moment, we need to look closer at how Time magazine builds its Time 100 list each year. It's not just a ranking, it's a platform where influential figures are introduced by those who know them best, people who have observed, worked with, or connected with them on a personal level. And because of that, these tributes often reveal more than any interview ever could. When Taylor Swift wrote about Dakota Johnson, she didn't rely on polished Hollywood language. There were no cliches like exceptional talent or rising star. Instead, she focused on deeply human qualities, empathy, curiosity, and something that sounds simple but is incredibly rare, authenticity. In an industry where every image is curated and every word is strategic, honesty becomes a luxury. And that's the key point. When Taylor used the word refreshing, she wasn't just complimenting Dakota. She was quietly acknowledging that authenticity has become so rare that simply being real is now extraordinary. Imagine Hollywood as a massive stage where everyone is performing, not just in front of cameras, but in real life. In that setting, someone who remains themselves is like an acoustic note in an electronic symphony. Not loud, not flashy, but powerful enough to make people pause and listen. And this is where their friendship stands out. No constant paparazzi shots, no staged public appearances for headlines. Taylor and Dakota's relationship exists mostly in private spaces, small dinners, unrecorded conversations, shared moments with close friends like Suki Waterhouse, Zoe Kravitz, and Cara Delevingne. This isn't a friendship meant to be seen. It's a friendship meant to be lived. That's why when Taylor chooses to bring Dakota into the spotlight, not through photos, but through words, it carries a different kind of weight. It's like rarely speaking about someone, but when you do, every word matters. At the same time, Taylor's personal context is crucial. She's standing at a major turning point, marriage to Travis Kelce. Rumors of a summer 2026 wedding, possibly in Rhode Island, possibly in New York, have already grown into a cultural phenomenon. Yet instead of centering the narrative on herself, she shifts the focus to a friend. That's not accidental. It reflects a subtle evolution in how she sees life. In the past, Taylor's image was often tied to public love stories and songs drawn from personal emotion. But now, as she prepares for a long-term commitment, she highlights another form of lasting connection: friendship. You could call it a quiet manifesto. No slogans, no grand declarations, but a clear message. In a world obsessed with attention, true value lies in connections that don't need to be displayed. And that touches something much bigger, not just in Hollywood, but in all of our lives. We live in an era where everything can be performed: love, success, even pain. But real relationships, the ones that remain when the lights go out, rarely show up on social media. Taylor and Dakota's friendship is a perfect example. It doesn't need proof. It doesn't need public validation. But when it's spoken aloud, it becomes a powerful reminder. A person's value isn't defined by how they are seen, but by how they are felt by those closest to them. And perhaps that's why this piece isn't just a tribute. It's a reflection, not only of Dakota Johnson, but of Taylor Swift herself, and the way she chooses to protect what matters most in her life. In the end, when the lights dim, this story is no longer just about a list from Time magazine or a tribute between Taylor Swift and Dakota Johnson. It becomes something far more human and far more real about what truly matters in a fast-moving, noisy world. Taylor is stepping into a new chapter with Travis Kelce, one the public will follow closely. But right at that threshold, she chooses to highlight a quiet, steady friendship, one that doesn't need the spotlight. And that speaks louder than any interview ever could. No matter how life changes, genuine people remain the irreplaceable anchor. And maybe that's the question we should all ask ourselves. Among our goals, ambitions, and moments we want to be seen, who is truly there for us when no one else is watching? Because in the end, fame comes and goes, success evolves over time, but real connections, the people who understand you, accept you, and stay, are what truly define your life. If this story made you reflect, try sharing one name, a friend you believe deserves that kind of appreciation. And if you want to keep exploring the deeper stories behind the spotlight, don't forget to subscribe.